One thing I would like to do is to compare the 2012 and 2020 elections, and there's a reason why I want to do this. Oh, I just remembered if I switch tabs, you can actually see it. But don't worry, there's a setting that gets you the popular vote. So as you can see in the 2020 election, Biden got about 51% of the popular vote. Trump got 47%. Oh no, that was 2012. 2016 though, it actually holds true. And now it will hide the popular vote. So as you can see, popular votes are about similar. I think in 2012, I can't look up another tab to prove it, but I believe Obama won the popular vote by 3.9%, and it was 4.5% in 2020. So actually Romney got a bit closer. And I want to actually compare these elections because these elections are so similar. But they really aren't. And a lot of it has to do with the nature of how they played out. Like in 2020, even though Trump lost, the electoral vote played more in his favor than it did in 2016. We could actually show the popular vote in 2016. We actually see that Hillary Clinton won in 2016, the popular vote, gaining 48% of it. Don't think though that if not for Hillary Clinton, that if not for the Electoral College, Clinton would have necessarily won the election. Because it would have been under 50%, it would have actually been a contingent election thrown to the House of Representatives. Yeah, if not for the Electoral College, we would be having contingent elections a lot more often. Which is where the House of Representatives gets to decide the president. And given the overwhelming Republican majority, I think Trump still would have won. But I don't know how American history would have panned out if not for the Electoral College set up by George Washington. But anyway, in 2012, we can actually look at the tipping point state. Because in 2012, the tipping point was not kind to the Republican Party. Because as we can see, Florida was tilt Democrat, voting for Obama by 0.80%. Had Obama went red, which would have only required a 0.89% swing, it would have been 302 to 236. But then the next state was Ohio at 3% and Virginia at 3.9%. Combining those two, it still would have been 272 to 268 in favor of Obama. The next state, the tipping point state, was actually likely Democrat. Jackson Jude actually says Pennsylvania was closer than Colorado. Both of these states were 5.4%. In reality, Colorado was 5.37%. Pennsylvania was 5.39%. Jackson Jude occasionally makes these kinds of errors, which, as you can see, when you actually compare the vote shares, you'll see Colorado does clearly top Pennsylvania as a tipping point state. It was actually only 0.02% between the two. So as you can see, a substantial swing. In 2020, that was not the case. Georgia was the closest state at 0.23% for Biden, Arizona at 0.3%, and Wisconsin at 0.60%. That would actually have made a 269 tie, forcing a contingent election despite the Democratic majority in the House of Representatives. Given how in terms of states it was still a Republican majority, I'll show you that in a second, I think Trump still would have won. Nonetheless, Pennsylvania voted for Biden by 1.2%, the surefire tipping point state. So as you can see, the tipping point was clearly more in favor with Trump than it was for Romney. And we can look at 2018 in the House elections because, as you can see, even though, yes, there was a substantial Democratic majority, what we can see here is that in terms of states, Republicans actually had a majority. Republicans, as you can see, had more substantial majorities and were also able to hold them in more in less consequential states, and actually one thing I'm going to do in my next video is see just how insanely blue the 2018 midterms actually were. Sorry I can't switch tabs. I didn't enable that setting. I'll probably do that when I have to. I'm just lazy.